kindly shut their gloves on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if we can have you find your seats, and please, you're getting better. I still heard some murmuring. Thank you. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for coming out tonight. We appreciate you being here and several things that we're going to do tonight that you must pay attention to. The first thing I want to say is if anyone listens to Dan Bongino's podcast, this country is in deep shit. As he would put it. So we want to get you all around, so once we get you out, make sure you come out in November, get all your friends, your relatives, your kids, especially the young ones that have not decided which side of the fence they're on. Get them on your side. Get them out to vote in November. Now, one other thing. We'll keep an eye on the screen up here. And first of all, my name is Jim Rush. I'm on the board of the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. I am having a sinus problem tonight. I have a little bit of vertigo. So if I go to spin to look at the screen and fall over, someone got to pick me up.
It's just a stage you would be passing through.
I'm glad you did say you're getting old. Thank you very much for that. All right. Now we're ready to go. We're silenced. Jeanette, silence, please.
All right.
All right. Let's in prayer, please.
All rise, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this great attendance this evening. We thank you for President Donald Trump, who has the courage to step forward to try to make America great again. Guard him as he goes through these legal battles. Tom Carroll, Bill Bockenberg, all these people were stepping forward and being persecuted. We know that your Savior, Jesus Christ, is watching over them. Watch over each and every person in this room. Give us the proper talents, treasures, and the time to help us victoriously win these elections here in the Lehigh Valley. We ask you to bless this meeting, and we also ask to bless all those who are not able to attend this evening, and any family members or friends who are sick. And as we approach Flag Day, Trump's birthday, we ask you to bless them, and especially let's take a moment of silence as today is D-Day. For all those soldiers, airmen, who stepped off beaches, dropped out of planes, and never came back home. Thank you for their service. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What so proudly we
Okay, our opening remarks. All right, June 6th, our appropriate to have this Tea Party meeting. Just wanted to share with you, I don't know how many of you watched early this morning, the ceremonies at Normandy Beach, but it was truly moving for me. My grandparents and my mom were captives of the Germans, and they survived. The war ended one day before they were to be terminated. So, you know, it's very moving for me, the whole thing about D-Day and World War II, obviously. That's why I'm so committed to this. So, again, how many of you get the text that we send out? I hope everyone gets the text. So I know what happens is a lot of times we get the robocall and the text, we go, oh, it's Tea Party, we don't look at it. But if you look at the text that I sent you today, not only is it the flyer, but on the flyer there, or above the flyer, there's a way for you to renew your membership. There is also the movie The Longest Day, which is a pretty good reenactment of what happened on June 5th and June 6th. So the movie's there, it's on YouTube, so I put the link there for you. There's a local sponsor here at the Orchard Steakhouse. They also are going to help us out. We're going to be doing another raffle soon. So there's a couple interesting things there I want to share with you. Okay? NCRC, that's Northampton County Republican Committee. Is Glenn here by any chance? No. All right, so I'll only speak on behalf of Northampton County Republican Committee. Len Reisinger, who has been here before, and myself, he's the chairman, I'm the vice chairman. We were re-elected this past weekend by a large amount as far as votes. Thank you. So it's knowing how to do things and to get votes. That's what Glenn and I know how to do. We can do that here in the Lehigh Valley too. Okay, there's many of us that do know how to go out there and market ourselves, meaning for our candidates, and get those votes. And it's all about leadership. So I think Glenn and I have a pretty good idea of what to do in Northampton County. So we thank all those who ran as committee people and for their support. So also, we have heard you. I know you guys like to have fun, so we have to make things fun. So we have been told many times, when are you going to do those honker waves or flag waves? We're going to do it next Friday.
Where?
So our idea is, we'll go into a little bit more detail. Next Friday is the Trump's birthday, it's Flag Day, and it's also the Army's birthday. So we're going to try to do one in both Northampton and Lehigh County. So I'll go into a little bit more detail about that. Although that's fun, and I know that's what a lot of people like to do, they always, I know because when I've done it, the girls stand right in front of my microphone and they say, that honk was for me, not for you, and they start arguing. Persons don't care who they're honking at. I'm looking for more people to stop and say, how can I get involved? That's what, you know, this is going to be fun, but at the same time, we need to do things like make calls, do doors, and we have to learn to be more effective about the way we do business. Later this evening, we'll have a couple of the leadership from some of the campaigns and from the Trump campaign come up to the mic to simply introduce themselves. They're not going to be signing up any volunteers. We're going to go about things a little bit differently. Trust me. Okay? That's my opening comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, as far as putting things out at tables, you are not permitted to put anything at the table without checking with me. And if there are a few people that came up to me, I gave them permission, so I appreciate that. That's the policy of the Lehigh Valley Tea Party Board, so we kindly ask you to respect that. And also, a lot of people last minute, can you put this slide up, can you put that slide up? It's not possible, folks. Simple as that. Mr. Rush?
Okay.
Whoa.
Is that microphone on?
Are you paying for that microphone?
Yeah, well, I'd love to be turned on. I should give this job up. All right, we want you to please respect the speakers and respect anyone that's up here on the stage. If you must have a conversation, we ask that you take it to the far end of the bar, back in the corner, and talk all you want as long as you talk low. Keep your voice low as it carries. We found that out in the past, that even back at the bar, we can hear you up here. I can hear you. And if I'm up here and I'm looking at you and staring you down, I know that means knock it off. All right, the membership and treasury reports. Now, I'm just going to let you guys read this. I'm not going to read it all.
I hope that means they're giving us money.
Alrighty, first time attendees. Do we have any first time attendees in the crowd? We have one here, we have one in the back, one, two. Stand up, man. First time attendees, stand up. Alright, we want to thank you very much for coming out tonight. In July, we expect to see you here with your spouse, with your kids. Bring some other people with you. Let's get them signed up. And consider being a paid member. You can do that back here at the table to give you the benefits of the tea party. All right, now we're going to have a little remembrance of D-Day, which was 80 years ago.
So again, I put on that link that I sent you today, which is on the website, the movie The Longest Day, with probably the biggest cast of big-time stars. I watch that movie every year. There's two movies I watch every year: The Longest Day and Independence Day, not July 4th, Independence Day. I watch a movie called 1776. Every year I have a plan. As you see there in the top picture there, that's like talking to the paratroopers the night before. That's a famous picture. Down below that are those landing crafts that a lot of our boys came off those, got shot right away, or they had packs that were too heavy and they drowned. And on the right is Point to Hoc. I'm sure some of you remember Reagan did his speech 40 years ago, I believe, at Point to Hoc. So again, thank you to those. There's still a lot of veterans alive from that were representative this morning, and I can't thank them enough. And please keep all of these veterans in our prayers. And the reason I put this up here, they had those, I'm sure some of you are history buffs like me, they had 5 beachheads: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juna, and Sword. So I put down there in the bottom, I believe we have some beachheads here. Our Congressional District 7 beachheads include Northampton, Lehigh, Carbon, and parts of Monroe counties. So what we need to do is coordinate with our county Republican parties and the Tea Party and take care of our beachhead. We have to think strategically, okay? What are the obstacles we need to overcome? Registration, mail-in ballots, volunteers, okay? It's hard to get volunteers to do doors, phone calls, so how do we overcome that? And I have there the link for The Longest Day. I'm not going to take that now, but again, you have that to you. But that's how I look at things, our beachheads. Okay. So then June 14th, as you see there, is Flag Day. It's the U.S. Army birthday, and it's President Trump's birthday. So we have coming up 2 pretty ladies coming up front here. As we mentioned, we are going to try to attempt to do a rally next Friday from 5 to 7. Our first location in Northampton County is going to be at the Park and Ride. We're going to ask you to try to do this on your own, in the sense that you got to watch that someone doesn't come from behind us. There's a lot of nuts out there. Be careful. Don't be crossing streets where you're going to get hurt. We're going to send out a location for Lehigh County. We're thinking where the skiers used to be on where Carter Road. So I saw Bach Arena here to see if we can coordinate some of the folks from Lehigh County. We've never tried this, but I think if we can, again, cover 2 beachheads, make sense? Lehigh County, Northampton, where we can get some publicity and round up some people. So, We're making it easier on you. In the past, we used to supply the flags and the signs, and it cost us money. And then people would walk off with the signs and the flags, and Tom, Karen, and I would run after them. And we would spend an hour rolling up flags and saying what was taken. So this time, what we have done, we've made it easier for you. As you can see, we have a flag designed where we have the pole already, and you can put that, you can pick it apart so it fits in your smaller car or larger car, and you can take it apart, boom, and look at that. So we have a Trump flag, and we also have a United States flag. You can purchase those tonight for how much, Melissa, again?
The individual flags are $15. If you want the full set, it is $25. If you just want the kit and you already have your own flag and you want one of these to put together, this is only $10 for just the poles, the zip tie, and the
But if you buy the thing assembled, we throw in for that $25, you have the little thing. We throw in this neat little thing over here. See this here?
so you can roll
Put
the
this,
flag.
put this right over the flag. It doesn't roll out or anything. So that's all we tight. Now we only have about a dozen of these, but we will order some and have them ready for you. But you only get this little device. And here, let's show them how this works.
This here, Bill Bockenberg invented, so. Look at that. Look at that.
Tonight. We only have a few in stock, but we'll take orders, and you can see Jeanette or Leslie over there. We'll kindly process your credit card. Again, they're 1 for $25 with the little black band, or you can get 2 for $50.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, we have the 50-50 raffle in the back. At the end of the night, we will draw one ticket. Stop back and see Mo back there at the raffle table and pick them up. You can do that while we're on break. I recommend you do it then. And don't wait till the end of the night to get your raffle ticket. Do it early. Recommend you do it on break. All right, the Second Amendment Committee, the back table back there, Steve is raising his hand right now. $500 gift certificate for your choice of either Hunter Relic Hunter Firing Line, Lehigh Valley Sporting Clays, or AF Boyer Hardware. $10 a chance now. We have 31 tickets left to sell. Let's go back there at your break, see Steve, see Mel. $10, purchase your ticket for the gun raffle or the gift certificate. 31 tickets. We want to see them go tonight. We want to draw that tonight. Thank you. All right, also in the back, firearms laws for 50 states book. The 2024 edition is $12.95 a book. They have that in the back if you want to stop back on a break, see them, pick up your book. Make sure you are good when it comes to carrying your guns across state lines. Also, the chips. We have chips available over here on the table. $10 chips, you can purchase them with your credit card. Should you want to purchase anything here on the tables for the raffles. We have donation buckets on the tables. You may drop a chip in the donation bucket if you do not have the cash.
Okay, then we have brownies, cannolis, and crumb cakes. In the rear, I annually take our Boy Scouts, as many of you know, to West Point, and to be able to pay for the expenses. I make a small portion back, and I put it into the till to pay for a trip to West Point. So it's appreciated if you consider buying a brownie, a cannoli, or a crumb cake. They're delicious. Or dropping something in the donation bucket. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, we have and actually, I think they put a list out on the table. We have, Patriot Mining Business, the list, the free list that you have, I think is on the tables. If you would support these businesses, I see Mel standing in the back, she has one. Okay, they're in the back there, they're not on the tables. The small businesses that are affiliated with us, if you would patronize those businesses, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, again, we have our lanyards, our t-shirts, our new rally flags for sale. So go to the merchandise table and see what they have.
All right, check out the merchandise table in the back. What happened to the shirts? But anyway, there you go. We're back to the shirts. Seat cushions and rally flags and everything we have at the back table. On break, if you stop back there, keep it orderly and buy some of that merchandise. All right, now you may ask yourself, why do we ask for donations? Well, there is an expense to having this program here at the firehouse. To help pay for the room rental, the coffee, etc., we have the buckets on the tables for your donations. $10 a person is appreciated, but anything that you would want to drop in that bucket is fine. $100 over, okay? If you're short on cash, you can always use the trunk chips that you can purchase over here to these tables.
Or the credit card machine. Okay, those of you who are Second Amendment folks and protect your home or your household, yourself when you're out there, you need to have an attorney ready to go. God forbid you have to defend yourself, even if it's a fist fight. Great way to do that is with U.S. Law Shield. For under $200, you will have an attorney at the incident in a short amount of time, and they will see from start to finish in your potential case. So there should be some cards on the table, and if you enter the Lehigh Valley Tea Party, we'll get them out. We'll get them out. So thank you for letting me know they're not there. But they will give you, instead of a 12-month deal, they will give you a 14-month deal.
Okay, now we have support the troops. We have Valerie Ferguson here with us again tonight, and she is going to give a short dissertation. Valerie, you just.
Good evening. I just want to say it was really something special to hear everybody do the national anthem and at the end of it not say, play ball. I am so sorry. But I'm going to continue on the theme here about D-Day. Real quickly, today is the 80th anniversary, which you all know that by now, but 160,000 Allied troops landed in Normandy in 1944 on this day to invade Nazi-occupied France. 73,000, over half of them, were Americans. That day, over 20,000 French civilians were killed. 4,414 Allied troops were killed. And the Americans were 2,501. The people joined forces with others to protect their freedoms, their rights, to practice their religion, and their basic liberties. Well, many of us, except some of our veterans, have not personally fought a battle like that of Normandy to protect our freedoms. But we have our own daily battles, and in order to protect our personal liberties and what we feel is injustice in our current government. That is why so many of us keep coming back every month. Some of us have been coming here for years, since it started in 2009. I personally am one of those. Oh, we have another one in the back. Many here are volunteers, either board members, school board members, committee representatives, and everyone here should be doing something. Our country right now is in trouble. We need to talk to everyone we know to stand our ground. The flag idea is great. It gets people talking. Personally, I carry voter registration forms in my purse. I meet somebody new. When I find out that they start telling me about their grandchildren and their kids, I say, are they registered to vote? And a lot of them aren't. I shot my bow and arrow for years with a veteran who complained about our government, only to find out he had never voted in his life. I gave him one of these. I nabbed him to death, and he now votes. So it's possible. We have to do the little things. So along that, I, for 15 years, have been sending free care packages to our military because I'm passionate about it. Most of you all know that. We have a lot of new people here. So if you know someone serving, come in the back and see me. People ask me, what do I need right now? The drink additives, they're either liquid containers or the box of straw. I call them liquid straws, but they're not. They're little, they're powdered and they come in little boxes. I'm low on, believe it or not, I've never said this before, but I'm low on magazines, mostly women's, and no cooking magazines. So thank you very much for your support. God bless all of you. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. And thank you for our liberties to have this meeting and our faith. Amen.
Thank you, Valerie. I'm going to let you all read this.
So as you know, Tom has stepped forward. He's working the legal battle, and he's being persecuted, and they're trying to take away his license. So if anyone would like to contribute to him, you can either do that online, or if you'd like, I'll find out how the check is being written out to him, and you can give it to me, and I'll make sure he gets it. Okay? And if you have any questions, you can speak up or I at the break. It's no break for us, girls. All right. Okay, so this is our a success event the Second Amendment group did. It was called Gals and Guns, and there is a bunch of female shooters there. And from what I heard, it was a big success. And they're the pretty ladies from the Tea Party. Let's give them a round of applause. And that was at the Lehigh Valley Sporting Place. They had another bus trip, I believe, and they were meeting with Dave Zimmerman, who was one of our speakers here at the Tea Party, I believe last year. So as you see, they went over there to Harrisburg, so there are kind faces from the Tea Party. And there's the Second Amendment Committee again at the gun show. All right, moving forward. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let Mr. Bockenberg introduce our featured speaker this evening.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay, I know it's a beautiful day out there, and my eyes are about a half-inch open, but we need to give some attention. So with us this evening is Dave Conti. Dave is the grassroots field coordinator for NRA, National Rifle Association's Institute for Legislative Action. Dave manages all of Iowa's ground game in Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. So Dave, it's all yours.
I don't know who this gentleman is. But I do believe we go to the same barber.
Dave, that's what happens when you don't send me your picture.
Anyway, I want to thank the Lehigh Valley Tea Party for having me out tonight. I travel all across my territory, but in some years I'm in about 30 different states. And this is an amazing group of people right here. Before I get started here, I want to reflect on two things that were mentioned before. Number one, Flag Day. When my father graduated from West Point, he purposely married my mother on Flag Day so he would never forget the Army's birthday and the anniversary.
Smart man.
Absolutely, very smart man. Second is D-Day. So, I am a history buff, and when I'm not campaigning, right after the election day, I jump on an airplane and fly around the world to visit battlefields, history sites. Fortunately, my wife loves the same thing too. But I've been to Normandy 3 times now. And many years ago, I was very fortunate to walk the beach of Omaha with my great uncle, and who came across that beach today 80 years ago. And to see the bluffs, and to see, kind of in my mind, what he was going up against. What, he saw was the whole entire world was against him, and everybody to his left and to his right. And what was said earlier, we have a big fight this year. We got to storm the beaches. We got to stand on their shoulders and continue on that freedom and liberty that was forged in blood. Our country is 248 years old, young in comparison to the rest of the world. In fact, I was in Krakow, Poland, just a few months ago, and I was having coffee in a coffee shop. It was 300 years old. Just to hear the history of all these countries, particularly Eastern Europe, that hold up America in such high regard. In Poland, I counted at least 3 statues dedicated to Ronald Reagan. Last time I was in France, forget about Paris and forget about Parisians. They suck. But when you go out to the coast, they are so grateful. And in fact, D-Day is celebrated for weeks prior to June 6th and for weeks after June 6th. They cannot be more grateful. So, all right, we're going to go here. So here's my real picture. I've been with the NRA for about 14 years now. Over those 14 years, I've worn many, many different hats. But for the most part, I've been in the campaign field operations department. And I know most of our members don't know that that department exists, but I'm going to explain a little bit about it right now and how you all can get involved with it. So up until about 2008, the NRA would fly around the United States and we would train volunteers to get involved with political campaigns. But we noticed that people running for office were not good stewards of the volunteers. They did not spend money on data or technology. And a lot of our volunteers and their time was wasted. So in 2009, we developed the ground operations department within the grassroots department of the NRA. I've been around since 2010. In every federal election cycle, I've been interstate. I've been in Ohio and in almost all the other battleground states across the United States. In 2020, I know most of you don't think that year was a successful year for obvious reasons. But for endorsed candidates by the NRA, we were successful in 80% of our races across the United States. This is just the voter interaction that my team did, okay? So in 2020, my personal team that's based in mainly in Ohio, but a lot of them are in Pennsylvania, did 7 million voter contacts, whether it was through doors, peer-to-peer texting, phone calls, and so on. We were able to flip states like Montana. Montana, for over a decade, had been trying to pass constitutional carry and over a dozen other bills, but it was stopped because of their governor. We were able to help flip those chambers there that year, and the very next year, they ushered in all those bills into law. We were successful in some places, that you just wouldn't think about. California, New York, New Jersey, Senate races, House races in Texas, you name it, the NRA was there, knocking on doors, contacting voters. 2022, well, we grew even exponentially. Our team reached 17 million people that year. Iowa is shaded in a little differently here because their state didn't have a Second Amendment in their state constitution. So we helped get that passed, and I'm happy to say that Iowa now has the strongest Second Amendment in their constitution than any other state right now. Very, very impressive. Now, your time is very precious. I'm going to set some expectations of what the NRA is going to be doing here. So I've been crisscrossing your state nonstop for the last year and a half, getting ready for this November. So we're going to be doing events all the way up until November. June 1st, we start canvassing for President Donald Trump. In the very back there on the table, you'll see some of those cards there. You'll have access to those. Senate races and congressional races will be coming on board with their own literature in the next couple weeks and months. August, we're going to start doing peer-to-peer texting. I'll go into how that works. It's not conventional texting with using your smartphone. It's a little different. October, or when you start early voting in your particular state, we're going to be doing phone banking during early voting. Now, why volunteer with the NRA? You're going to have so many different opportunities, to either work directly with the campaigns, the party, national party, and so on. Well, prior to coming on board with the NRA, I've worked with state parties. I was a consultant in Tennessee. I worked for the party in Virginia. I've done every job imaginable, from volunteer to paid, cleaning offices, cleaning garbage cans at midnight, helping put together walkbooks, for the next crew to come in the next day, to managing races. And the one thing that I always noticed that always used to piss me off was the mismanagement of technology and data. I could not believe how many times, even still to this day in Virginia, they still use Scantron sheets. And in offices, they actually have a volunteer with a blow dryer that will blow dry that piece of paper so they can scan it through the machine, while the rest of the world is using smartphones and iPads and so on. So, going back to 2009, the NRA decided we're not going to do it the way the party does it. We're going to find the best technology, the best data out there to make sure that we're successful and that we are respectful with your time and your effort. So the first thing is how we do our data targeting. So typically, the party and candidates will do party-based targeting. That's where you go into the data, you look at it, and you see who hasn't, missed a primary in the last couple cycles, who hasn't missed an election in the last couple cycles. And that's how you would determine who you're going to target. Up until about 2008, 2012, it was a flawed method, but it worked for the Republican Party. But in 2009, back up, 2008, we started to see Republicans using this other option called sitting it out. You know, if they didn't like the candidates, they would just stay at home. And we started to see this grow and grow and grow. 2010, we saw 2012, we saw entire segments of the Republican Party sit down with Mitt Romney. I worked on his campaign, not a fan, but, you know, entire segments of the party sat it out. 2016 was a weird year because some of those base swamp dwellers within the Republican Party, they sat it out against President Trump. But I ran offices throughout Ohio where we had a lot of Democrats come in. In fact, the #1 most successful office out of all the NRA offices in 2016 was in Canton, Ohio, and Youngstown, Ohio. And it was staffed with over 90% lifelong Democrats. Union workers, Blue Dogs, Reagan Democrats that said, we've had enough. We don't want Hillary Clinton. What can we do to help get Trump elected? We also look at historical trends with undecided voters and late voters. So we keep track of when we're contacting people each and every year. And we've been able to put it into our system who historically makes a decision later in the cycle. Then also in 2020 and 2022, who said that they were going to sit out the race? A lot of things happened in 2020. There's no doubt about it. But I was running teams all over the place in Georgia, Michigan, also Ohio, and in Pennsylvania in 2020. And you won't believe it, but every single day, I would get reports back saying, hey, I'm looking at my phone, I see this Republican here, they haven't missed an election since, Abraham Lincoln. And this person is saying they're not going to sit out the race because they don't like Donald Trump, what he says. They don't like his hairdo. They don't like the color of his skin. Whatever it may be, they invented some reason to sit it out. Well, the day before election, I was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I knocked on the door, and I'm looking at my phone. There should have been no reason why I should have been knocking on this door. This guy met all the base requirements that he should not have been an issue. He owned a very successful construction company in central Pennsylvania. And he said, David, I pulled in all my minority employees and apologized to them for being racist, for voting for Trump in 2016. And I looked at him and I said, I don't even know you, and I can tell you right off the bat that you're not racist because you've hired minorities at your company. And the light in his head just started to flicker a little bit. And I sat down on his doorstep with him, and I just started to unpack everything that he believed. He voted for Trump in 2016. But over those 4 years, somebody took his little snow globe, shook it up, and smashed it on the ground. He didn't know which way was up. And we ran into that everywhere, in every state. So anyway, we're taking all this data, putting it all together to make sure that we're contacting a precise person. We're not going to be wasting our time with people that haven't voted, aren't registered. I was at AF Boyers a few hours ago. A gentleman walked up. Actually, was that picture of Donald Trump on his shirt? I said, that's a really cool shirt. He goes, yeah, Trump's my man. I said, you looking to vote? In November, because I'm not registered to vote. So I sent him to the NRA's website, triggerthevote.org, so he can get registered. There's a lot of people out there like that. So another reason to work with us is if there's a big group of you here, I'll drive out here. They took me 10 hours to get here. I'll drive out here once a week to train you, work with you, whatever it takes to make sure it happens. I also do a lot of virtual training as well. Also, too, we can customize the data. I have the command authority at the local level to adjust the data to meet your needs within your counties and your precincts. So I know this is a picture here of Pittsburgh, but if you're over here, who you're going to be knocking over there, or I was in Canton, Ohio just a few days ago, who you're going to be knocking there is going to be very, very different from where you're going to be knocking here in Allentown or the surrounding areas. So I want to hear from you. I want to know, who's in your area. I'm going to go through the data. And if there's extra data that I need to know, like maybe there's a strong concentration of union members here, or Blue Dot Democrats here, that you think that we have a compelling message to talk with, let me know. And I will make sure that the data is customized to your area. Now, when it comes to reaching out to people, we have a very methodical approach to this. If you ever have any trouble falling asleep at night, Barack Obama's campaign team wrote a wonderful book. It's called Action Lab. It's very dry. It all has to do with data and technology. But in that book, it talks about how you do data targeting. And if you can have at least 3 contacts with an undecided voter from day 1 all the way to early voting, you have over a 70% chance of activating, energizing, and getting that person out to vote on election day for your endorsed candidate. This is something that we've been doing for over a decade now. So let's say, ma'am, you're in a neighborhood and you knock on a door and you reach Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith is undecided on Trump and other candidates. Well, immediately, Mrs. Smith will go to the top of the list of phone banking, peer-to-peer texting, and direct mail. We're going to have another volunteer. Now, when it comes to texting, I have over 100 women in Orange County, California, that have been working with me for years now. They actually did all the texting for Pennsylvania in 2020 and 2022. That way, our volunteers here can stay on the ground. Wonderful ladies. Hope to meet them someday. So, Mrs. Smith goes to the top of the list. Maybe a volunteer in another state is going to send Mrs. Smith a text message saying, hey, I understand you're undecided. Continue that conversation. Still undecided? Well, we'll follow up with some direct mail. We'll follow up with a phone call. As long as we get those 3 contacts over the course of that cycle there, we have a high likelihood of energizing that person and getting Mrs. Smith out there. And if I have enough volunteers out there, we could do something called dynamic voter interaction and dynamic messaging. I'll get into that right now. We also have a very sophisticated system for early voting. So we track, and we've been doing this for about 5 years now. We started off in Virginia and then off cycle to test this out. So if somebody gets an absentee ballot, I know not all of you are friends of absentee ballots or early voting, but if you do get that absentee ballot, we can see that in real time. We can see that you have that absentee ballot, and we can see when you turn that in. So we have a special team of volunteers that if you have that absentee ballot here, and you haven't turned it in on election day, we'll call that person, called ballot flushing, making sure that they bring that absentee ballot with them to their polling location and turn it in so they can vote in person. Why? Well, if they don't do that, they have to vote provisional ballot. Your ballot doesn't count on election day if you vote provisional. And it only counts if the margin of error between the 2 candidates is between certain margins there. We don't want that. We want everybody that holds near and dear the Second Amendment to their hearts to be able to vote, whether it's early or on election day. Also, too, one of the benefits is if you do vote early, the noise stops. The phone calls stop, the texting stops, the door knocking stops for that person, and all the other volunteers can focus on the rest of the people. And then that momentum grows and grows and grows, so you're focusing and arming on the few that are left to make sure that they're voting on election day. This is going to be a shocker. We're a one issue and one issue only organization. And that's the Second Amendment. I know some people get mad at us for not talking about abortion, not talking about Ukraine, tax policy, and other stuff. But only having one issue and one issue only enables us to reach across the aisle. This is not a Republican issue. You've got a few Republicans here that are voting for gun control. I got red states like Indiana and Tennessee that have supermajorities up and down. Who are my biggest problems? Who stopped constitutional carry in Indiana 2 years in a row? The Republicans did. Now, because of campaign finance and fundraising over the decades, there are fewer and fewer and fewer Democrats that are supportive of the Second Amendment. I believe that in Pennsylvania there are 2 Democrats left at the state level, 1 in the House, 1 in the Senate. On the federal level, I believe there's only 1, and that's in the U.S. House, and that's in the state of Montana. But being only Second Amendment, when you're knocking on that door, I'm not having you ask any other questions. And so you're able to talk to people, a very, very diverse environment, group of people, that you can talk about the election and the candidates that we've endorsed. Now, we take a multifaceted approach to doing voter contact. Not one method is good. Doing lip drops, door knocking, working events, sitting at a table and stuff, talking to people. Not one thing works. So we're doing doors, texting, phone banking, direct mail, events, literature distribution, and so on. Now, on your tables you have an orange card, and stop me if I'm violating something. If you want to fill out those cards there, even if you're a member, membership does not automatically put you on to my personal list at NRA headquarters to communicate with you about legislation in Harrisburg, legislation going on at the federal level, and also what we're doing for the election. If you want to text to my phone number, 703-708-4664, you can indicate what you may be interested in doing. Or as a group, you can make a decision and say, hey, David, we want you to come out here, train us on how to do door-to-door, and I'll be here. You take a picture there, sir? Yeah. All right. All right. So if I want to take a picture of this, yes? I'll show it at the end as well. All right. First piece of technology here, you download our free app. Right onto your smartphone, we have that conversation of where you want to knock, who you want to knock, doors. You download it. You're able to open up the books here, see the neighborhoods here, go into the neighborhoods, see the doors. You can even go in there and activate satellite imagery to help you walk the neighborhoods. Right there on the screen, you have the script. It's very simple. You support the Second Amendment. Now, I've already gone in there and I've filtered out so we have a pretty good idea of which way people lean on the Second Amendment. So most of the people with that conversation should be relatively friendly. Once you get in there, you see that, Mrs. Smith answers the door there, you click on her, you ask if, we can get her support for the candidates and everything, and then move on. As you're knocking on doors, you're going to see the houses start lighting up different colors. Blue means that they weren't home and you left literature there. Red means that they had a vicious chihuahua in the front yard and they didn't feel comfortable knocking on that door. Green means that you had some kind of a conversation. Maybe they're anti-candidate, pro-candidate, whatever it may be. In real time, from my computer, actually this computer here, I get to see these bubbles fill in. And in 2016, I started to notice in Pennsylvania, Youngstown, Canton, Ohio, anomalies. And when I start to see anomalies, I'm able to tweak the system in the back end to make sure that we're contacting the right people. In 2016, it had to do with very blue areas, and we weren't able to penetrate, those union areas properly like we should do. Next piece of technology here is peer-to-peer texting. Right from your desktop, we are going to be rolling out an app for your smartphone. You log in there, you're going to see a list of names, you're going to see a list of send buttons. Per law, when it comes to unsolicited text messages, you have to send them, you have to have a human being send the text message one by one. I have a gentleman in Cleveland, Ohio. He is 92. He's been in hospice for 6 years now. I think he's holding on to life just out of spite. He sent in 2020 close to 800,000 text messages. He'll send me a picture of him all hooked up to all kinds of machines with a thumbs up, and he's, clearly God is watching out over him. This is the really cool thing here. As you send text messages start to come back, and then you can message back to them further in that conversation. Maybe they're undecided. Maybe they'll tell you what you can go do with yourself. Or maybe they're going to be voting, for somebody else. Phone banking, like I said, this is going to be reserved until the very end. This is something that we used to do year-round during campaign cycles, but we found that its effectiveness is really best utilized during the early voting period to help get those people with those early ballots that haven't turned them in to turn them in. Again, it's a very simple app that you download to your phone, or you can use your desktop or laptop. Log into our system. You'll be connected to NRA headquarters where our auto dialer is, and then you'll be connected to thousands of other volunteers across your state, across the United States, and our system will automatically dial those phone numbers, connect you with the people that we need to contact. Events. We've got one of my volunteers in the audience here, Jeffrey Bortz. He's going to help me out with events here. There's local events that you want to do. County fairs. It's not too expensive. The NRA PAC will pay for it as long as you can man it, get our information out there, inform the public. Let's make it happen. This is a sampling of some of our literature here from previous years. Of course, we'll inundate you with stickers and all the informative literature that you possibly need, as well as the candidate literature. I'm also looking for extra people that want to take a further step. Just like Jeffrey has raised his hand to help me out, and that is our Frontlines Activist Leader Program. Maybe that is a liaison between me and the Lehigh Valley Tea Party or the local community. I'm going to ask you to do horrible things, like sit at a table, maybe at a gun show or a gun store. Hopefully you don't spend too much money. Help network. Help map out where local resources are. The worst thing in the world happened to me in 2010. NRA said, hey, you need to go to Columbus, Ohio. And all their instructions at that time was win or don't come back home. Well, I had to research on the internet where all my natural resources were, where the Tea Party groups were, where the conservative clubs were, where the gun groups were. I don't want to waste my time. I want to be able to call one of you and say, hey, what are the local resources here? Plug me in. I'm coming into town to give a speech, do some trainings. I need that help. Networking. Outside of elections, we're also very heavily involved in Harrisburg. And in Harrisburg and Pennsylvania, you're only holding on by about 5 to 6 votes in the state Senate. Your House is passing everything underneath the sun that resembles New York, New Jersey, California, Illinois. So by networking, next year, if we need to get the word out that there's something hellacious coming down the pipe and we need to all run down to Harrisburg and show our faces at the Capitol, I need to be able to get that word out as effectively as possible. And then, of course, assist with election efforts. Maybe not you physically, but maybe you can put me in touch with other people. Or maybe you can help me coordinate with people that are in this room here. Everything is on the line. Just like the brave men storming the beaches of Normandy 80 years ago, in every battle since and before then, the United States has defined what liberty and freedom is. I think the French wrote about it a couple hundred years ago. But Americans define what freedom and liberty is. But over the last 40, 50, 60 years, tyranny has taken a hold right here in the United States. At the local level, the federal level, our courts, our schools. You know, I think I went to 12 different schools before high school. And I got to see the good and the bad and the ugly of our education system. I went to one school where they didn't even allow us to talk about D-Day or World War II. I went to another school that, you know, it was the Persian Gulf War. I wanted to write, you know, to our soldiers overseas. They wanted nothing of it. There's a cancer flowing through our education system, our political system. Pennsylvania is on the line this year. And if we don't win, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but you lose everything. And overnight, you become, with so many people that I run into, fled New York, fled New Jersey, to come to a better state, an awesome state. But over the years, people just aren't registering to vote. Hundreds of thousands of hunters aren't even registered to vote in your state. You know, as I've been traveling around to Erie, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Scranton, Philadelphia, Allentown, I can't tell you how many people I talk to, like, you know, it's rigged, I'm not going to vote. Or I'm not registered to vote. I bought my gun, I'm good to go. I support the Second Amendment. Well, supporting the Second Amendment is getting out there, putting some of your own sweat, your own blood, putting your own shoe leather on the road and contacting these people. By our estimates, anywhere between 20 and 25% of Republicans in Pennsylvania are comfortable with sitting out this election because he's at the top of the ticket. So you need to go out there with our data, our technology, or directly with the party, directly with the candidate, however you want to do it, and have that conversation with these people. Help guide them. Help them understand what's on the line. Because over the next 4 years, the Supreme Court is probably going to be up for grabs. And think about all the successes that we have had over the last couple of years because of Trump's appointments to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Second Amendment has not had a friendlier Supreme Court ever. So at this time, can I open it up for some questions? I'll open it up for some questions. If you have questions outside of election work, I'll be over here. I'll stay until after the meeting, answer any questions that you have. Yes, sir.
I know you had just mentioned that 20% of Republicans aren't voting because of Donald Trump. Conversely, I think Donald Trump set the record for the amount of incumbent votes for him. And also, I don't think that John McCain or Mitt Romney could have held Trump's office.
I don't think you wanted me to say that.
Say that again.
I think the goods aren't protected.
Well, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So I think I changed that in my little speech. I just want to tell you, it was offensive.
All right. But you know what? This state
Because I'm not a Republican.
That's good.
I'll give it that.
So, what other questions? Yes, ma'am.
It's not so much a question, it's more a comment about the texting, peer-to-peer texting thing. I know that my phone gets flooded with texts, and what is the content of the text that you are sending? Is it information, or is it asking them to click on something to go take this survey? Because if it says that,
So it's both. Okay.
I won't respond to
Right.
anything.
So the first part is when we send out a text message, it has basic information there about, going out to vote. This is our first person. And then if they want further information, it doesn't go to a survey. They can go
Well,
to.
again,
it
if it has
takes you to
anything that you have to
Right.
click on, I'm not interested.
And there's a lot of people that won't click on it, honestly. I don't click on it. But we have about a 30% success rate in people clicking on it.
Okay.
So we're checking it out. So at the end of every election, we actually analyze all the data, all of our efforts to see what works, what doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, we stop doing it. And so far, it has been working pretty well.
I guess I'm one of those that doesn't.
There's a lot of people that have security conscience. Next question.
Any other questions? Raise your hands, Jim.
Are you getting the iPhone from some sort of program that you have? I mean,
Yeah, so if you have an Android or an iPhone, I would give you a link to our app. You would just download it for free, and then you would have access, to our doors and other applications.
so, I mean, the people you have, their names, you can get their iPhone numbers.
Oh, for texting?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have access to, through the voter database in each state, there's a phone number attached, and that's how you get their phone numbers. We run it through a system to clean up all the landlines, so it's only mobile lines, and that's generally how we get those phone numbers attached.
Anyone else?
Let's go. If 20, 25% of Republicans say that they're going to keep it up with Trump, and I know a couple of those.
Oh, hold on, we'll bring the mic back there.
So if 20 to 25% of Republicans says that they're going to skip it because of Trump, and I know a couple of them that have told me, yeah, I'm not voting for him. They voted 2016, they didn't vote 2020, actually they voted for Biden. Now they say they're not going to vote. So, with the NRA, how are you planning to reach to those people? I know, not the rich. How are you planning to convince them just saying like, hey, pro Second Amendment, is that only going to work? Because if they hate him, for example, my dad, I'm from Venezuela. We did Chavez and everything. And despite the fact my dad hates Trump, he says that he wouldn't vote. He might vote because Biden is we don't say he's a communist, but is aligning more to what's happening in Venezuela, but he says that he despises Trump and he wouldn't vote either. So no matter, at least on the people I've been seeing, no matter if they are pro-Second Amendment or not, they hate him so much that they wouldn't vote. Do you have any idea how to deal with that?
Yeah, so our approach is to help them understand the issues better. So help them understand, legislation that's been going on at the federal level. Biden has done more to hurt the Second Amendment than Clinton and Obama combined by setting up offices in the White House to coerce states to pass red flag, to pass various types of legislation. So we help them understand, what that legislation is, the dangers of losing the majority of the Supreme Court. And by and large, most people, when you talk to them about these issues, when it comes to the Second Amendment, they see the light. And like I said, if you can have those multiple contacts with those people, you can earn that, you can earn that vote over time. Now, what was said before, that 20%, a good chunk of those people are going to come into line, as we get, into early voting. They'll freak out, they'll realize this is real, there's no other candidates to vote for. But this race is not, particularly here in Pennsylvania, isn't going to be won by large numbers. So it's those few that we really have to go after, help inform them, educate them, and make sure that they get that kick in the pants to go out and vote on election day. So I see that my time, I don't want the big hook to come out. So yeah.
Real quickly, I've had the privilege to see our voting lists locally, and I know who lives in my neighborhood and know always wrong. So how clean and how do you get your voter information?
So we take a multi-step approach We'll start off at the state level with the registered database. We'll start off, and then we'll layer on the local database on top of it. Then we have consumer data that we bring in so we can see who has moved recently, filter and clean all that out. And then we also take that consumer data and we filter that through with people that have a leaning towards the Second Amendment. So I've done that with the party. You knock on the door, you look at the list, and there's like 15 people there, and you don't know who to talk to. It happens from time to time with us too, but it's very, very rare.
I would like to say something.
Okay, you're gonna have to make it brief because we're over our time. Go ahead, quickly.
Can I say something?
Nice and loud, go ahead.
Okay, I was on the Trump campaign, and I was in the office in Bethlehem
Hold on.
every day. I was privileged to be on the Trump campaign, and I was in the office in Bethlehem for days with other people as well. We really had a great team. This is also with Lisa Scheller. And I have to say that we did door-to-door canvassing. We did peer-to-peer texting. We did phone banking. This was for a couple months. And I'm to the point now where it's really bothering me emotionally because I really love Trump. We know what happened there, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to get through all this. And I believe in all of it and everything like that. But we really need to get teams up together to push this or it's over. That's how I really feel. And I know I'm really being really emotional, but this is really the truth. We don't have another time. We really don't. So this man is right. We have to really work for this, but this is really darn hard. And it's just that it's to the point where there is more at stake here because there's also evil people who will do everything they can to get this over with and not have it. So I don't know how to explain my opinion about this and how emotional it is for me. Because there's so many wonderful people here that did everything they possibly could do to get Trump in, and it was a farce.
Don't give up. The moment that we give up, they win. So, I know my time is up. Thank you, everybody. I'll be over here. If you have any questions.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you can stay seated, we're going to try to get back to our other slide projection here. Technology holds. Bear with us.
I have a comment. I want to talk about the people that decide that they're going to stay home and not vote. I have a feeling, ladies and gentlemen, do not believe in the polls. The polls will have Trump up by 5%, 7%. People will see this and people will say, he's a shoo-in, I don't have to go out and vote. There's a plan, not by the Republicans. There's a plan to fabricate these polls and get the poll numbers up to get to you to stay home and not vote. Do not believe the polls. Thank you.
Okay. Folks, again, I encourage you to watch that movie, The Longest Day. They had captured 4 of those beachheads, but the most famous one, Omaha, it's mentioned in the movie. They said if we don't win that one, we don't win. After the break, we're going to have some of the campaigns and the Trump campaign, some of their representatives come up. We can't just get one of them, and we have to get them all in. But here's how we're going to do it. We're going to have this Tea Party work with our county parties, and we're going to devise a way to do things. Okay? So, Want to just bring to your attention our tonight's coffee sponsor is the Holy Name Society. Captain Mel and I are members of the Holy Name Society. We're praying for you, and we ask you if you have any interest, if you're Catholic, and you want to know about the organization, see myself or Captain Mel. And at this time, we're going to break for a few minutes. I encourage you to make sure you check out the merchandise, get those remaining flags. There are, I believe, less than 10 of those $10 second-hand raffle tickets in the back. So you want to go that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you could please take your seats.
Finishing up the break, I don't want to take a lot of time. The first thing I want to, those who don't know me, my name is Mike Exner. I am the chairman of the Northampton County Republican Committee. Andrew is the vice chairman. And through all the hard work that many of you in this room did, we were just re-elected for 2 more years. I thank you for that. I thank you for your support in that. Now, let's get on to why we're all here tonight. We're here tonight because what we need to do is take what you just saw and we need to be the boots on the ground and make it happen. We're the ones. We're the ones who text people. We're the ones who knock doors. We're the ones who phone call. We're the ones who our neighbors come to and say, who should I vote for? Right? That's what happens. That's the way that this system works. I will tell you right now in Northampton County, we are so fired up that we are going out. We've got 2 different door knocks tomorrow. We've got a 10:30 door knock in Bethlehem Township, and then we've got a 1:30 door knock in Northampton Borough. If you live in any of those areas, or if you live in the county, and you want to come out, and you want to support Donald J. Trump for president, you want to support my fellow parish member, Dave McCormick, for U.S. Senate, or you want to support Ryan McKenzie for U.S. Congress, any and all, because we are knocking for everybody, because our job is to put Republicans in office, up and down the ticket, so we can make America great again. And I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Billy Moore. I'm the Deputy State Director here for the Trump campaign in Pennsylvania. My territory goes from Harrisburg and all the way east here. Wanted to introduce myself. I've been running the Lehigh Valley before. I worked on Lisa Shelley's campaign in 2020, 2022. I want to make this short. Your time is valuable. When Glenn talks about the importance of Northampton County, he's not wrong. The Lehigh Valley is the epicenter, not just Pennsylvania, but for the country in elections. Right? We have a really important area here. We have urban, Allentown, the 3rd largest city in PA. That's Lyme, which I believe is the 6th, and then Easton. Right? Those represent big cities, and then a lot of this district is very rural. And so the way that this battleground and this congressional district lays out speaks for the rest of the country. Right now, President Trump is in high spirits. Obviously, we heard that happened last Thursday. We raised about $82 million in that 3 days. But as we know, and as we've seen before, we know that money isn't everything. If money was everything, Donald Trump would have lost in 2016. Right? And so for us, we have just unveiled Trump Force 47. This is our youth field program. As some of you may be aware of our past field programs from the RNC, we put a very big emphasis on door knocking, hitting goals that were really, in our opinion, weren't realistic. And they weren't very quality. We put a quality over quantity over quality approach to campaign. And we know the people on the ground, grassroots networks, we need to make sure that we're giving quality training, that we're explaining people in depth, and we're making sure that we're massaging relationships. Right? So for us, our biggest priorities here are going to be voter registration, early voting commitments, and yes, mail-in ballot applications as well. We know that in every precinct, and in Trump 447, our new program, we know that if we get one person in every precinct to reach out to 47 people and get them to do one of three things, we win this election in a landslide, not only for Donald Trump, not only for Jay McCormick, but also Ryan McKenzie and everybody down ballot, all the way to Delaware. So with that, I know we'll be around here to answer any of your questions. We'll be working very closely with Ryan McKenzie's campaign. I want you to hear from him a little bit, Andrew Pucci. He's coming all the way from Western PA, Mercer County. I know he came back here about 2 weeks ago. A fun fact, he was actually elected to the school board while he was in high school, so he's one of the youngest school board. He's definitely great. Wanted to just introduce him and give him a little rundown about Ryan McKenzie's campaign.
Thank you, Billy. I love Billy as well. I don't know your background as well as you know mine, so I'm a little bit concerned actually. But no, my name is Andrew Pucci. I'm the grassroots director for Ryan McKenzie. Ryan wanted to be here tonight. I already had some other obligations. He recently welcomed a baby boy into his family. So I know that he's with his wife Chloe tonight, making sure that Leo is doing well. We're hitting the ground running. It's going to be crucial. I want to actually ask just a quick question. How many of you are veterans in here? Can I see everybody there? Thank you for your service. Thank you. And how many of you are from Carbon County? Anybody from Carbon? Okay, we got one. Well, I just wanted to tell you that Congressman Wild was not like either one of those groups of people. We are in a really tough election. I want you guys to know right now that victory runs through the Lehigh Valley. It is crucial that we are a team. It is crucial that we are doing everything that we can to ensure that we are electing Republicans from President Trump all the way down to dog catcher, like Billy said. We are in the fight for our country. I want to raise a family here. I want to raise a family in Pennsylvania. But right now, I don't think it's even a good idea to consider it, because I do not want my kids growing up in this economy, growing up in a society that they don't know if they're a girl or a boy. We don't want that. So it's going to take all of you to elect Republicans up and down the ballot, especially here in PA 7. We need to send Congresswoman Wild to retirement because she does not care about you. She does not care about our veterans. She does not care about Carbon County. And she definitely does not care about Lehigh, Monroe, or North Hampton. So folks, right here is how we win. Groups like this is how we win. And I'm sure together, as a team, we will win on November 5th. So thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, please welcome Pastor Robert Albino. Bienvenidos. Everybody, bienvenidos.
Good evening. Buenas noches a todos. My name is Pastor Robert Albino. I am a native from Bethlehem, born and raised. I am an assistant pastor at Central Assembly of God. I wanted to thank Bill Vackenberg for the opportunity to be able to just talk about what we're doing with an organization called Bienvenido, and we're also sort of being the catalyst of having me pray at the Trump rally in Sheffield. So thank you for that, Bill. It's a kind of a lifetime memorable moment for me. I lost some friends, I made some new ones, praise the Lord, but so with Bienvenido, what we're doing, we have a collaboration. So I'm also a national director for the largest Hispanic Christian leadership conference in America.
Wow.
And we are targeting 19 counties in battleground states, 4 of them here in Pennsylvania, 1 of them being Lehigh, So we have a collaboration of multiple organizations centered around Bienvenido USA, where we're going into Hispanic evangelical churches and we're registering people to vote in Hispanic churches. And so we're at a crossroads where the latest New York Times poll has President Trump up 46 to 40 amongst Latino voters. So it's no longer a gap that needs to be closed. The Hispanic voter is saying that they do not want the Democrats in charge. And so, there are things like, how many remember when that term Latinx started floating around? The Hispanic community shut that down quickly. We criticized Joe Biden for talking about breakfast tacos, and this is something that you probably don't hear every day. But we're not into this identity politics thing. We're about hard work. We're about a strong economy. We're about opportunities for our kids, it's so much so that, imagine, in the Biden administration, there's 3 high-level Hispanics in his administration. Xavier Becerra, Miguel Cardona, and Alejandro Mayorkas, right? You would think, right, that because you have these high-level Hispanics in the Biden, that he would be getting all this Latino support. But it's not about that for us. It's about the people. It's about the issues. It's about our values. So this is the message. This is the message. We don't get caught up in, this is what I tell people. A no vote because you don't like Donald Trump is a vote for Biden. So if you're okay with that, you deal with that. But we're encouraging people to look at the issues, look at the values. And so we're mobilizing in Lehigh County in Hispanic churches, and we're just we're looking to flip. We're looking to make sure that we do our part, because let me tell you something. I'm a father of 4, and every time I go to the grocery store, I'm praying to the Lord, but I'm cursing the devil at the same time. And so these are the issues that I know we all feel. I know we're all dealing with. And so Bienvenido has been established for some time now, and they help flip some house seats in Texas, in Arizona, and the cruciality behind this. I want to sum up with this stat. In 2020, in Maricopa County, Trump lost by 11,000 votes, where there were 15,000 registered Hispanics that did not vote. Wow. Republican registered Hispanics that did not vote. So this made our team open its eyes and say we need to increase our ground game in the Hispanic evangelical community, because it's not that they don't want to vote. It's not that they feel like they don't have a vote. It's that it's not something spoken about in our church atmosphere, in our church community. And so we have seen an opening of doors of different Hispanic denominations, different Hispanic pastors that are talking about getting registered to vote, that are talking about the values that resonate amongst Hispanic voters and align us more with the conservative platform of the Republican Party. And so, because contrary to what a lot of people may say, I still believe that the Republican platform is a conservative platform, and it's one that is aligned with our Judeo-Christian values. And so, that is something that resonates with the Hispanic community. And Allentown, Pennsylvania is already a majority Hispanic, 54%. And I don't care what the mayor says, you might be, 2%. He's just as Hispanic as Elizabeth Warren is Native American. But the Hispanic community in Allentown is growing, but it's not thriving. And the reason why it's not thriving is because there's still policies from that the Democrats endorse, that the Democrats have adopted, that continue to keep the community poor, in poverty, and thinking that they always need to depend on the government. Well, our message is different. We come with a Republican message. We come with the message of freedom and education. This Tuesday in the Capitol, we have about 20 Hispanic pastors that are united with a group called the Black Pastors United for Education. And we're going to go to the Capitol and we're going to tell Josh Shapiro to pass the Lifeline scholarships because we need better schools for our children. And this politicization of the education system is just, it's nonsense. It needs to stop. You have teachers union presidents making $500,000 a year. It's ridiculous. And so there's a mobilization happening in the Hispanic church. It's something that hasn't been seen in the past. But I want to speak even broader than that because one thing that we're seeing is that a lot of Hispanic churches are either translating their services or they're just strictly, so it could be like a Hispanic pastor with a lot of Hispanic people in their church, but they do their services in English. And so the reason for that is to attract people who may not know the language. So the reason why this is important is because we're not just registering Hispanic evangelicals, we're registering evangelicals from all backgrounds, white, black, from Central America, from Africa. And so, and here's the thing, in 2020, there were 12 million evangelicals who were not registered to vote. And so you think of a number like that, and you think about if we increase the ground game in the evangelical community, in the churches. And so one of the people who sit on our team, she worked for many years for Catholic Vote, and so she comes with experience, and she comes with some knowledge on how this can this can grow and make a huge impact. So we're in Lehigh County, we're tackling Berks County, Luzerne County, and Monroe County. And so any type of help that we can get, volunteers, like I said, this is not just like an exclusively Spanish thing. We have our targets, but we'd love to share with you all. Again, Bill, Andrew, thank you for this time. God bless you, and let's keep this going. Amen? Yeah.
Final announcements. As our two speakers said, I just cannot even imagine how someone can vote. You're allowed, if you don't vote, so you have to encourage your family and friends, if you don't vote, you're giving them an option to do what they want to do to you. I'm not sure if it's true, but someone sent me a text message earlier today that our great governor said no, that you can't use your cell phone anymore in a car. So we'll find out if that's true.
Yes, yes.
All right.
What?
Yeah. You can't hold your phone in a car. Okay. But again, you have to know how to hit the right buttons with family, friends, and neighbors. And also you have to learn to know when to walk away. There are some people that you're not going to change their mind. They're hell-bent on one issue, whether it be abortion or they don't want us to have gun rights. But there's a saying in the Bible, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, God, my rock and my salvation. Ask God to give you the words to say to convince people to vote. You can do it. You can do it. All right. Again, we have our rally next Friday. Next Friday is our rally, 2 locations. The Northampton County location will be at the parking lot. The Lehigh County location feasibly might be over there where the old Sears was in Whitehall, but we will get that out to you in a communication form. Jim's going to be following, and he has something to share with you. Also, before I forget, those of you who are interested in helping Tom Carroll in his defense fund, you would just make out a check to Thomas Carroll, and I'll make sure he gets that. Okay, so that's to help him with his legal fees. Jim?
Okay, next up, the Berks County Patriots. Their next meeting will be Thursday, June 20th of 2024. General meetings are usually the third Thursday of the month. The doors open at 5 for raffles, kitchen, socializing, and network. And our meetings go from 6:30 to 8:30. The location is the Temple Fire Company Ballroom, Kutztown Road in Temple, PA. Or you can check them out at BerksCountyPatriots.org.
Okay, Fortune Steakhouse, we're going to do our raffle. Coming up soon, we're going to launch another raffle. It was very successful earlier this year with the guns and the restaurants. I've contacted a lot of those restaurants. They're going to give us gift cards. Fortune Steakhouse is one of those. They are the ones that were persecuted by the city of Bethlehem. They're going to have their 1-year anniversary on June 21st. Flyers are at the table. Hope to see some of you there. On Independence Day, not July 4th, but Independence Day, we are going to have the reading of the Declaration of Independence at the city of Bethlehem, over there, right in front of their city hall. Tom has done this for I don't know how many years, many years. So it's short. It will be done by noon or not earlier, and then some of us go out to eat afterwards. So hope you can attend and share this with your family and friends. Take a picture of that and send it to them. Jim?
All right, mark your calendar, as it says at the top. Join us as we celebrate our 1-year anniversary, and that will be for the CCT Health Anniversary Luncheon, June 23rd, 1 to 4 p.m. And again, it's at Kutztown Road in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Food fellowship, a few words from Dr. Greg and Shemaine Wheeler, who we've had here several times as our special guest. They will be the special guest there, along with Bob Pearson. Bob will speak on mental health and his faith-based counseling ministry, Overcomers Unanimous. No, that's okay, go ahead. Now this one I'm not familiar with. Stroll to the ball.
Take a picture of it, folks. Take a picture of it. There's a gentleman here from that organization, so they just wanted us to mention that. So just keep your phones out and take a picture of that. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That cost you.
We took it back for you, man.
Oh, thank you.
So while you're taking that picture, I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Moak. They're going to be our coffee sponsors next month. There's a couple here. They're back there. Our coffee sponsors. I'm still looking for some other coffee sponsors, folks, that need you to step up, please. Again, you can do it as a couple, you can do it as a table. If you sit with the same people, please consider doing that. Go see the girls over there at Sign Up so we have the next few more months fueled. All right, next month's meeting, we will not have a meeting on July 4th, obviously, Independence Day, but we are meeting the board this Monday. We are probably going to try to pull off something really cool. So if you could keep us in prayer, we'll get back to you. So there is an alternative date we're looking into. Okay, 50-50, I'm going to go back there. Who has the winning ticket tonight? Are you ready?
I'm sorry, I had it.
Oh, how much is the jackpot tonight? $225. And our drawer is, let's see over here, Frank Couillon. Frank, can you come up hold the ticket? The winning ticket is 0756 736. 0756 736. Did that person leave? one more time, this is the last call on this one, 0756736. Going once. Going twice. Hold it. We have a coffee sponsor, he said?
No, looks like Bill Rush.
He's not in a rush here.
You know, a rush one, but it wasn't this rush.
Let's verify that. Mo? There you go.
Congratulations, Bill.
All right, I think we also have our gun raffle. So Steve's gonna spin that. We'll run back there. Valerie Ferguson, if you kindly pull that ticket, Valerie Ferguson.
Just remember, Val, there is another rush in the house.
The winner is
John Boyd. No. A longtime contributor to support the troops. And Don.
Don. Yep, Don, come over here and see. Where's Don? Is he here? Oh, okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our closing remarks. We want to thank each and every one of you for being here this evening. You're important. Again, if I had 2 minutes with each and every one of you, I would tell you you are winners. So, help us to win here the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. Keep an eye on messages from us. We'll be back in touch with you. Our closing prayer, Heavenly Father, we thank you for our speakers this evening. We thank you for all of our patients here in the Tea Party. We ask you to help us all to have a safe trip home. We thank you for all those who served in World War II. Bless us this week. Amen.